I wanted to do a recording to demonstrate how to set up an array list using not just wrapper classes, but instead using a custom class that you've created similar to the classes that you created in Chapter 3. So what I've done here is I've actually created a project called Cartoon Tester, and I've come in and I've created my own custom class called Cartoon Characters. And here I've got 4 string instance variables: name, superhero skill, alter ego, and sidekick. And so this is very similar to just a typical class like you would have done in Chapter 3. There are my 4 instance variables. Here is my constructor where I take in name and skill and alter ego and sidekick and I assign them to the instance variables. And I've got a getter and a setter for the name and a getter and a setter for the skill. And I will leave it to you. You need to add getter and setter methods for alter ego and sidekick as well. Now, one thing I want to point out, I'm using the this operator, which I like to use, but I've not introduced that in any other lectures. So normally I would use a different name here for the parameter name. I would use something like name in. And I would come in here and I would say name the instance variable equals the parameter that's passed in, name in. Well, if you want to use the same name for your parameter as you use for your instance variable, you are allowed to do that. And I like to do that personally. So I would be saying name equals name, right? The name instance variable is now being set equal to the name parameter that is being passed in. But when you do that, in the past in compilers I've gotten an error. I don't see NetBeans flagging it now as an error. But that is not the way that you set that type of situation up where you want to use the same name for the instance variable and the parameter. When you do that, so here I've got name and I made my instance variable name as well. As you can see up here. Oh, and what did I forget to do? I forgot to do the one thing I told you they would take points off on the exam for. I forgot to make these instance variables private. And somewhere it's deleted too much. So while I'm trying to fix that really quickly here, I'm going to make cannot type here, superhero skill. So make each of these private, as I should do, and as I definitely want to do so I don't lose points on the free response section of the AP exam. And so now if I want to use the same variable name for the parameter as I do for the instance variable, which is something I like to do, I really need to designate which one is what. So when you look at the code, you know exactly what I mean. And if I put this dot, that means the name that is the associated instance variable for this class. So this dot name means this instance variable named name equals, and when I use name without the this, it means the parameter that I'm passing in. Same thing with superhero skill. This superhero skill, as it means this right here, the one that is the instance variable for this class, set that equal to the parameter superhero skill that is being passed in. You can also do that in your set methods. I've done the same thing here and here. So I'm just introducing that to you. You will see that on the AP exam potentially. So here I've got my class. Well, now what we're used to doing is creating, say, one cartoon superhero at a time. And so I would create or instantiate one object, and I would do that using cartoon characters, giving it a name, equals new. Cartoon characters, again, I'm calling the constructor here, and I'm passing it the name, the skill, the alter ego, and the sidekick. So that's how I would create one individual object of the type cartoon characters. But what if I want to do an array list? Well, in earlier exercises, you've done an array list using strings, or possibly integers or doubles using the wrapper classes. So this format should look familiar. The only difference is now, instead of using a wrapper class, I'm going to actually substitute into the angle brackets my class name, cartoon characters. So I've created an array list named superheroes, and its type, data type if you will, is cartoon characters. So when I do this, Java understands that it's going to create multiple superheroes, and it's going to be allocating memory for 4 strings each time it creates a new superhero in this array list. So that's your basic setup for how to prepare Java to create an array list of objects of type cartoon characters, and the name of this array list is superheroes. Now when I want to add my superheroes to the array list, I can use the add method of the array list. Again, you're used to this with your previous practice with strings and integers and doubles. But notice in the parentheses, I'm actually putting in the latter half of the line that we're used to putting in. I'm taking this section here that actually calls or invokes the constructor, the new part with all the parameters, and that is what I put in the parentheses for the add. Okay, so add to the superheroes array list, the first one, and I can't just pass it part of the information. I can't just pass it the name. I've got to basically invoke the constructor and send it everything that it needs: the name, the skill, the alter ego, and the sidekick. And so for the next one, I do the same thing. I'm using the add method, and in the parentheses, I am basically invoking the constructor, so I don't have to worry about naming each individual item that I'm adding to the array list. I'm going to reference them as superheroes 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. And so here I'm just invoking the constructor so that I can populate all 4 string variables, all 4 instance variables each time I create or add a new cartoon character to the array list. Now I want to show you, how do I print out my typical declaration of an object of type cartoon characters, where I've just got the one. It's not an array list. It's just a standalone single object, one cartoon character here. Well, if you remember to do that, if I want to print out the name and the skill, I can use the name of the object, only one dot get name, which is the accessor. And here I've decided, since it's a get name is a string, remember the concat string operator operates or is used with string types, so I can use concat and put a dash there. And then I can concat on again, going and getting the actual skill. So I can print out, for example, Batman dash BatSense. Or in this case, I'm going to print out Mermaid Man dash not sure. Now I could have done this a couple different ways with the print line. I chose to use the concat. But I certainly could have done used the plus sign here, and then I could have put the dash in that way.